Today on No BS AI Briefing, we're digging into how agents are moving AI beyond chatbots and into core operations, from dynamically routing tasks between your device and the cloud to powering an entire AI native airline, and what all this means for how you're building products right now. No BS AI Briefing, brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back, I'm your host Vaikash, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. Alright, let's dive into this week's high signal items because there's a definite theme emerging around agentic AI moving beyond simple demos and into real complex applications. First up, we've got some interesting moves from our side in Qualcomm, who just acquired Modular and deepened their partnership with Hugging Face. Newsweek reported this on July 10th. What happened here is Qualcomm's pushing hard into enabling dynamic routing of AI workloads, letting agents decide whether a task runs on your device or in the cloud. Think about it. A system could assess latency, cost, and even data sensitivity in real time, then push the AI processing to the optimal location. This isn't just about shifting where compute happens, it's framed as a big UX shift, moving from app-based interactions to more task-based experiences, all within this hybrid AI environment. For builders, this is a signal. It means you should really start designing your architectures for autonomous task routing rather than fixed deployments. We're going to see SDKs emerge that abstract away the hardware location, making it easier for your products to tap into this intelligent allocation. And critically, it validates on-device reasoning as a core component for cutting latency and, let's be honest, reducing those ever-growing cloud spend bills. This isn't just a convenience, it's a strategic shift for efficiency. Next, a fascinating story from IBM, who, alongside Riyadh Air, is positioning an AI native airline built on watsonx agent skills. IBM Think on July 10th highlighted this partnership where agents aren't just a front end chatbot, they're deeply integrated into crucial operations like customer service, flight scheduling, maintenance, and even crew coordination. The whole thing leverages watsonx Orchestrate and watsonx AI, and the emphasis is on reusable skills that automate complex decisions across the airline's operations. There was also a separate mention of Comprus using watsonx AI for conversational banking, which shows this modular agent approach isn't just for airlines. Why does this matter for us builders? Well, it's a powerful demonstration of what AI native operations look like in a highly regulated, high stakes domain. This isn't just about a chatbot, it's about the very fabric of how an enterprise functions. The concept of skills offers a really modular, auditable, and scalable pattern for building complex enterprise agent systems. It allows for clearer accountability and easier development of new functionalities, which is huge when you're talking about mission critical systems. Also, in the agent space, on the Hidden Brains recently reported deploying AI voice agents with quantified ROI in production. Access Newswire on July 10th shared some compelling numbers. Their voice agents are handling everything from basic conversations to complex tasks like scheduling, lead qualification, updating CRM systems, and even triggering backend workflows. One client, Dropshop, saw a 65% reduction in manual processing, achieved 95% reward accuracy, boosted repeat engagement by 40%, and saw campaign participation triple. Those are not small numbers. What this tells you as a builder is that voice agents aren't just for cool demos anymore. They are delivering measurable bottom line outcomes. This isn't futuristic, it's happening now. And the critical takeaway here is that deep integration with your existing CRM and workflow systems isn't a nice to have, it's absolutely core infrastructure. If you're building products that involve any kind of customer interaction or internal process automation, you should be looking at how voice agents can be embedded as fundamental infrastructure. Finally, we have some policy news that could directly impact product design. A US bill targeting harmful chatbot design for minors and emotional dependence risks. MLEX reported on July 10th that two House Democrats have proposed legislation that would require developers to disable harmful design features for minors. It also mandates that developers regularly assess the risks of emotional dependence that their chatbots might foster. Plus, it restricts how personal data of minors can be processed. This is still in the proposal stage, but It's a clear indicator of a growing trend. For builders, this is a crucial development because the scrutiny is clearly shifting. It's moving beyond just the safety of the underlying AI models to the actual UX design patterns of consumer agents. If you're building any kind of interactive AI, especially for a broad audience that might include minors, you're likely going to need to start conducting risk assessments and implementing controls related to these design choices. We could easily see a patchwork of state level regulations emerge if a federal standard doesn't stick, which would make compliance even more complex for product teams. Now, for our deep dive today, I want to focus on that IBM and Riyadh Air partnership, building what they call an AI native enterprise. I think this is one of the most important stories of the batch because it signals a significant evolution for agents, moving them from just pilots and proofs of concept into the very core operations of a business, specifically in a highly regulated, high stakes environment like an airline. This isn't a small thing. What happened, to recap, is that IBM is working with Riyadh Air to integrate AI agents using watsonx Orchestrate and watsonx.ai across critical operational areas: customer service, scheduling, aircraft maintenance, and even coordinating flight crews. The key differentiator here is the emphasis on reusable skills. Instead of building one giant monolithic agent, they're creating modular, auditable pieces of AI logic that can be combined and reused for different tasks across departments. And remember, they also highlighted the Comparus case showing watsonx AI powering conversational banking. So, this skills concept isn't just for aviation. Why does this matter right now? Well, for too long, enterprise AI has largely been framed as augmentation, something to make existing processes a little bit better or faster. But Riyadh Air is a greenfield operation. They're starting fresh, which allows them to adopt truly AI first patterns from the ground up. This isn't just about efficiency gains, it's about fundamentally rethinking how an enterprise operates with AI as the central nervous system. The skills approach formalizes these reusable, auditable procedures, making it easier to manage complexity and ensure compliance, which is absolutely critical in regulated industries like aviation. This is a blueprint for how future enterprises could be built. So, who should really care about this? First, founders of any startup looking to enter an established industry. This shows how you can differentiate with genuinely AI native operations, not just by adding a chatbot to a legacy system. For product managers, understanding this modular skills pattern is huge. It's a design paradigm for building agents that are manageable, auditable, and scalable. You're not just building features, you're orchestrating capabilities. For data infra engineers, this points to a future where platforms that can orchestrate these diverse skills and agents will become absolutely central. Think about the infrastructure needed to manage, deploy, and monitor these interconnected AI modules. And even for hierarchical indie hackers, while you might not be building an airline, the concept of breaking down complex tasks into reusable, chainable skills is a powerful architectural pattern you can apply to much smaller projects to create more robust and flexible AI systems. How would I think about this as a builder? I'd think of skills like microservices for agents. Instead of one large monolithic service trying to do everything, you have small focused capabilities that can be invoked and combined as needed. This modularity means greater agility. You can update or swap out individual skills without bringing down the whole system. It also inherently promotes better governance and auditability because each skill has a clear input, output, and purpose, making it easier to trace decisions and ensure compliance. The opportunity here is to build truly AI first processes rather than just augmenting existing ones. If you're starting a new venture or even a new product line within an existing company, how can you design it from day zero with AI native principles, baking in these modular skills, and thinking about how agents orchestrate them rather than trying to bolt AI on later? It's a fundamentally different way to approach system design. My no BS take on this is that while the AI native positioning certainly benefits a new airline like Riyadh Air, which doesn't have the drag of legacy systems, the underlying principle of modular, auditable skills is genuinely valuable. Yes, the case study, like many early ones, omits the crucial details about failure mode handling and accountability when agents make decisions. Those are still big open questions. And while other ROI claims, like those from Hidden Brains, show promising numbers, they often lack sufficient baseline context for comparison. However, the move towards modular, reusable AI components orchestrated by agents is a real and significant step forward, offering a more robust and governable way to build complex AI applications. It's not just hype, it's a practical architectural shift. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode that you can act on this week, here it is. Experiment. Model your workflow as skills. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, identify a simple, repetitive internal workflow in your team or product that involves 3 to 5 distinct steps. Maybe it's how you handle a customer support escalation, or how a new piece of content gets reviewed and published, or even just processing a new lead. Second, deconstruct that workflow into a series of highly focused atomic skills. For each skill, define its exact input, its expected output, and a single clear objective. For instance, if a step is classify support ticket priority, that's one skill. If another is fetch customer history, that's another. Third, map out how these individual skills would chain together to complete the overall process. Think about the dependencies and the flow of information between them, just like you would for a microservices architecture. Finally, take a step back and compare this skills-based model to how your team currently handles that workflow. Ask yourselves, is it more maintainable? Is it easier to debug? Could any of these skills be reused in other workflows? Why is this specific experiment worth your time right now? Because understanding and applying this skills paradigm is fundamental to building scalable, auditable, agentic systems. Whether you're integrating with an orchestration platform like watsonx or building your own, thinking in terms of modular skills will make your AI systems more robust, easier to evolve, and ultimately more valuable. It's a way to future proof your product architecture for the coming agentic wave. That's it for today's Nobius AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.